Sparky's thoughts.
No long intro today, guys. You guys loved the last one, and you made it very clear that you loved the last one. So your wish is my command. That being said, high school archetypes and what they become later in life. The class clown. And look, not to be biased or anything, because I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, I am a former class clown. But I feel like class clowns, whereas a lot of archetypes tend to box themselves into somewhat of a predictable future, I feel like the future potential of a class clown is really volatile, because just being funny and liking to entertain people isn't really a narrow way of life that predicts what type of person you'll necessarily be. But in my opinion, the future of class clown really comes down to one main thing, and that is their own self-image or their own self-esteem. Wait, I said one main thing and I named like two things. You guys get the point. Unfortunately, a lot of class clowns are class clowns because of things like depression or a neglectful household. So while there might be a lot of potential in their intelligence or their personality, their habits and their mindset might not put them on the trajectory that makes them successful, and at that point they'll end up just floating around okay careers where they'll be well liked, but they aren't necessarily successful by a societal definition. But when they do understand their potential, you guys don't understand. They always seem to make it in some form of entertainment, whether it's acting, content creation, wink wink, or just any sort of entrepreneurial endeavors that stems from being able to entertain people. So it really can go either way. I'm not even gonna sit there and be biased with y'all. The drama kid slash theater kid really doesn't need that much of an explanation. The kids that were heavily into acting and theater, some of them cool, some of them weird as shit, some of them are even furries. Where do they end up though? Usually what ends up happening is they'll end up waiting tables, working at a coffee shop, or working as some sort of a bartender. And they kind of just do this for a few years and live off of that. And if they're doing some sort of freelance work, they'll make some sort of money off of that too. Eventually they'll move to New York or LA where they'll do the exact same thing. And life just kicks their ass at that point, man. They struggle. If they're not working, they're smoking a cigarette or out drunk. And if they're not doing that, they're beefing with their roommate in their room that they found in a sketchy Craigslist listing. They're putting hearts in lattes all morning and making watered down, bitter lychee martinis at night. All while somehow living an aesthetically pleasing life. Their TikToks and IG stories will lead you to believe that they already made it, you know, in every aspect other than actually booking a role, but still it's pretty damn convincing. And honestly, I wish I could tell you that most of them end up making it in that industry, but a lot of them don't. It's really rare. And the sad thing is, they're usually more talented than the nepo babies that ended up taking the role that they wanted. And if they do end up as somewhat of a successful actor or actress, some of them had to do God knows what to end up in those positions. God knows what type of ditty parties that they had to attend and entertain to make the connections to get the positions in Hollywood or theater that they want. Either that or they usually book their first successful role at 40 years old, if they even continue doing what they're doing in life for that long. Usually what ends up happening is they come back to their hometown, complain about how hard and lonely New York is, or complain about how fake the people in LA are. Just get a regular job and, like, I don't know, start a f***ing family or something. The I hate school kid. You know the kid I'm talking about. You never really saw him. He never really came to school, and if he did, he almost always came late. But when you guys did talk, he was pretty cool. You guys had some deep talks about escaping the matrix, breaking the system, creating generational wealth, maybe even sprinkle a little bit of spirituality in there. But the one consistent thing is they always tell you that they hate school. They're very subversive, counter-establishment. You honestly don't even know how they ended up getting a diploma, and some of them don't end up getting their diplomas or GEDs. They either become that guy that just gets by in life with no job and no confirmed career. You know, that friend or that dude that just always has money, never goes to work, never had a job. You have no idea where the money is coming from, but they seem to be doing just fine. So that's what's up for you, I guess. Wish they could put a young nigga on to, you know, the method, but it is what it is. You know, you fall out of touch with them. Either that, they end up just being the nigga that just does drugs all day and complains about life, lives life very day to day, usually very angry and just kind of floating through life. Or sometimes they actually do become successful in some sort of business endeavor, whether they become some sort of like day trader, trade forex, or some sort of crypto bro. Some of these people do actually end up rich. And for that, the next one is that girl. I'm talking about the most attractive girl in school. Not one of those like, oh, she's pretty, or like, nah, she cute, but like a, oh, she's pain. Like top 1% beauty. Back in school, they were usually just gracing the hallways with their beauty, but with a personality comparable to a Tootsie Roll. Somehow they always ended up in drama though. Why? Because girls. Usually these girls end up as some sort of wellness or lifestyle influencer. They make aesthetic TikToks and IG stories documenting their vacations, don't know who paid for them, and eating mid-looking food that looks fancy due to the plating, you know, in the Bahamas or Jamaica getting mud rubbed on their butt. You guys get the point. At some points, they usually end up taking the TikToker route, trying to make videos documenting their lifestyle with them talking, which... these usually suck because they're trying to take on the personality of their favorite influencer, and as I explained earlier, they have the personality of an orange fruit snack. So they think, okay, I'm pretty, I could just take my personality from someone likable and it'll work, and it doesn't. You're better off just letting your beauty talk and shutting the fuck up. But they actually do end up getting by. Some of them even end up successful. You know, they'll get their little Fashion Nova sponsorship, or if not, they'll usually end up dating someone rich or famous with a bunch of connections that are at least 10 years older than them. Oh, and they sell, eyelashes as well. Yo, quick intermission. If you like me or my content, consider following me on Twitch. I go live literally every other day, and definitely follow my second channel, Sparky No Thoughts. I upload there damn near every single day. And also follow me on Instagram. If you like me, just like my face, or just want to see what I do with my life. Thank you for your time, and back to the video. And the next thing on the chopping block, the Overachiever. You know, the kid that took all AP classes sophomore year and somehow still cried over getting a 94, brought an A home to their parents and was denied food because they didn't get an A+, and threw a fit because they didn't get into the Ivy League school that they wanted. And honestly, it's not your fault, man. It was never gonna be you. Your dad's not a rich alumni with connections that used to be part of a frat doing zesty shit at Yale. Be glad you're going to an Ivy League at all. Be even more glad that you're getting some sort of scholarship. Your scholarship's probably gonna get taken away though, more on that later. The sad thing about these people is that they live their whole lives chasing academic success in the hopes that one day it'll bring them peace. This peace, of course, that never comes. They get to college and their workload gets harder. The papers get longer, the deadlines get shorter, and their caffeine immunity only gets stronger. So what's the only logical thing to turn to at that point? Drugs! Because of this, they usually go on a downward spiral, and there's at least like 1 or 2 semesters where they just stop caring about school altogether. Grades start slipping, they stop going to class, they just party, do drugs, and have a bunch of sex. But eventually they get their pep talk from their parents that remind them why they went to school in the first place, and they end up getting it together, and they eventually do graduate. They always graduate. Like, that was never an option. They're gonna graduate. Unfortunately, to end up burnt out in their mid-20s working in finance, realizing that their life never necessarily got more fulfilling, even with their dream job that even after graduating you had to take a few years to get. But hey, at least your parents are proud of you. Have fun paying off that debt because you lost your scholarship the one semester you decided to deviate from your life purpose. And by the way, guys, I'm not trying to say that if you got good grades that this will end up being you, but it's usually the people that attach their self-esteem and their self-worth to their good grades. The people that never even thought about what lifestyle that they wanted because they were too busy thinking about what their parents wanted. And that's really all we got for today. Once again, if you guys want another one of these, I could probably make at least 2 more before I truly start running out of shit to talk about. So if you guys like the video, obviously like the video, share it with someone, send it to one of these people if you know them, or if you're one of these people, leave it down in the comment section. Let me know which one you are, or just leave a comment saying hi, man. Just tell me how your day is. And if you guys mess with the content, once again, follow me on Twitch. Sparky out.